Hey everybody, it's Dr. E. Um, Hope everybody's doing well today. I had a fantastic day. It was a busy day. I had training to do, and but it was productive. I felt really great. Had some awesome conversations. Really good conversations. And realized when I got ready to start creating my email for the 10th for tomorrow. I do it the day before. Tomorrow is my grandmother's birthday, March 10th, my paternal grandmother, Ethel Mae Lewis. And I thought I want to dedicate my email to my grandmother. You know, my brother had given me some feedback about our the videos and one thing he said, I want you to share stories about, our grandmother and the wisdom that she gave us and our humble beginnings and things like that. And I definitely heard what he said and I agreed with it, but all things in good time. And because tomorrow will be her birthday, I said tomorrow is the day to definitely share how blessed I was to have my grandmother. And so here is the quote: when we lose someone we love, we must learn not to live without them, but to live with the love they left behind. And so I want to talk about my grandmother. I want to talk about loss. And I want to talk about this idea of living with the love they left behind because it's really all about a perspective shift, isn't it? Oftentimes when we lose someone, we think, we lost them. And we sit in the sadness of that. And that's, one way to look at things. But then I know for myself, when I lost my dad, that was the greatest loss of my life. My dad, I am a daddy's girl from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. So that was difficult. And the way I was able to survive that and continue is that I I dwelled in the love that he left, in the experiences that we had, in the great dad that he was. But that's my daddy. We'll talk about my grandmother. And I think that this message is really timely because, we're still dealing with COVID. And I was sharing with someone that we're coming up on our spring break. And last year we went out on spring break and we never came back. And so many of us have lost people due to COVID and due to just, end of life and other issues that have happened. And so we're always in a state of, having lost someone, losing someone. And some of us are preparing to lose people in our lives. But if we dwell in the fact that we can always live and bask in the love that they left behind, then I can understand why some people see, death as a joyful situation, something to be celebrated. And it's not that we celebrate the death, but we celebrate the life and we celebrate that we had the gift, that we ever had the gift. So I'm gonna tell you about my grandmother. I always describe my grandmother as formidable. When I think about my grandmother, she's just the epitome of strength. She was a single mother of two boys, my dad one and my uncle Donna the other. She had never married and she worked very hard. She was a maid and a nanny and she worked hard. And I watched that and I learned that, I needed to work hard and I needed to always be able to take care of myself. And so that I am very thankful for. And then, I went to church with my grandmother. So my grandmother, taught me how to pray and she taught me, about being a part of church. And church is a huge part of my growing up. She was the president of the senior choir. I was president of the junior choir. And she was in organizations. I was in organizations. I learned a lot about being a leader, even as a child. And I was surrounded by educators. So I guess I kind of, learned about being an educator, even at church. And those were all things that my grandmother put in place. Like she taught me how to, wear pantyhose and put on a girdle. And, she say stuff like, it must be jelly because jam don't shake like that, and she always taught me about how to be a woman and be a lady and be respectful and be good and be kind, but don't let people walk all over you. She was so strong and people did not mess with my grandmother. And so a lot of people, I was known as Ethel Mae's granddaughter. And I wear that label with pride. She was a formidable woman, a beautiful woman, a kind and giving woman, but she was stern and unforgiving when you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So I got many a spankings when I had an attitude. I know you probably don't believe that I had an attitude because I'm such a sweet person, but yes, I am a spoiled brat. And when I don't get what I want, I can throw a tantrum. I acknowledge that about myself, and I love myself in spite of it. And so I am thankful. I had my grandmother into adulthood. In fact, Lincoln, enjoyed my grandmother as a great grandmother. And so I know that that is a blessing to have someone in your life through adulthood to model yourself after and to learn from. We had, spent many an evening watching the Wheel of Fortune. And I love the fact that she got older. She called BET Bet. And we watched 227, and it wasn't 227 with Marion Lester. It was 227. And I can think back to those things, and that's what I uh, love of gospel music that is comforting to me. Um, all of those things I got from my grandmother. Um, Someone who didn't graduate from high school, uh, didn't have the degrees that I have, but so smart. You know, she helped to raise me, and I'm forever grateful that she did. That not only did I have a mom and a dad, but I also had a grandmother in the house with me until I left and went to college. I always had three parent figures in my house. And so I don't really have a whole lot of advice for you on that, other than, if you've experienced loss recently or even some time ago, something that you're dealing with that you're still grieving. I want you to think about shifting your perspective from the loss to the gift that you had them in your life. That's what I choose to do tomorrow on March 10th when it's my grandmother's birthday. Or if you guys are listening to it today on Wednesday, then on Wednesday, March the 10th, I will think about the good times. And I'm going to go to the picture book, and I'm going to look at the pictures, that I have of her, and I'm going to think about the times we laughed, and I'm going to think about the time she made me cry. She yelled at me, or she gave me a whipping, or she punished me, or she said something that was harsh in effort to keep me on the right path. Oftentimes we don't understand or agree with what our parents say to us, but we have to know that it comes from love, and that, remember, I've said this to you before, we are always doing the very best we can at any given moment. We are always doing the very best we can at any given moment. And I know that I come from a great line of strong, determined, persistent, resilient, intelligent, creative women. And I'm thankful to be a part of that line. So I hope that you're able to celebrate your heritage today. And I hope that you think about a family member that you had, and that you choose to delight in the love that they left behind. And I also want you to have a wonderful Wednesday. I want it to be productive and positive. I want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to be kind to others. I want you to be thoughtful. So as you reflect on thoughtfulness this week, yesterday, the activity was for you to write down three things that someone in your life likes and three things that they don't like, and do the same for yourself and gift that to the people that you're in relationship with, so that you can be clear about how to treat each other. That's important, so that, when we are apart from each other, when life is over, they can delight in the love that you left behind, and vice versa. So have a wonderful day, everyone. And thank you so much for tuning in. I've gotten such great feedback recently from folks who are tuning in, and I will continue to pour my experience, strength, and hope into these messages, in the desire that that's how you receive it. So, guys, take care of yourself.